Thank you everyone for joining. If this is your first time in a Poets of the Household event, I'll just briefly talk about our mission statement, and then some of the programs that we have, and then we'll go into introducing Sara and the workshop that she's going to be leading today. So Poets of the Household seeks to encourage, support, and promote poetry in the English language with a focus on spirituality, faith, Muslim identity, and poetry in honor and praise of our beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam and his holy household, the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Our mission is to create and facilitate a community where the creative expression of our faith can form and flourish. And we do this via different programs that we have. We have workshops, usually on a monthly cadence. We have writing prompts on our Instagram page. We have a poetry podcast as well. And there's other smaller programs throughout the year, like open mic nights and stuff as well. So please, if you don't follow the page, I'd appreciate if you could give the page a follow and keep up to our programs and participate in the future events as well. And with that, I wanted to introduce our workshop lead for today. In today's workshop, which is going to be themed around cliches. It's Sara Farhat, and I'm sure a lot of you might already know of Sara, probably through her Instagram page, Smiles of Sunshine, and her lovely poetry that she's put out there. But just as an introduction, Sara is a Lebanese poet, educator, and craft enthusiast residing in Toronto. She draws inspiration from immersing herself in nature and has a deep appreciation for Arabic poetry, flowers, and trees. Sara enjoys using metaphors and uses her ability to create vivid imagery in her readers' minds. And beyond writing, she enjoys reading, hiking, crocheting, soccer, and photography. So with that, I'd love to pass it over to Sara, who's going to be leading the workshop for today. You can take it over, Sara.
Thank you, Naki, for that intro. Um, just bear in mind, today I've just before I just start, just bear with me. Just woke up not feeling great, and just waking up to the news that Lebanon was bombed. So I've been a little not the greatest. But inshallah, this workshop goes well and you find benefit in it. So, okay, Bismillah. So, intro, I'm going to begin. So, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I actually did, but I decided to turn over a new leaf. I knew what life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So, I keep my chin up, but put my best foot forward and remind myself that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So, how ridiculous was this? I just used a bunch of cliches in my introduction, and just to set the stage, we're going to be talking about cliches for today. So let's begin. And yes. Okay. So for today, the agenda is um, we're going to speak about what are cliches. We're going to explain like three types of cliches. Why do they fail us? How to avoid cliches? How we can use cliches as a prompt. And also just having writing exercises. We'll have one at the end, but there's some weaved in throughout the lesson as well. And yeah, so let us start. This, I don't know what's wrong with this. Okay. This. Okay, so before we actually start, I have, it's like a little bit, I don't know why it's a little bit like freezing. Anyways, but the first exercise we're gonna do is we're gonna have 5 minutes, just an introductory writing exercise. So we're gonna describe the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, but the challenges here is you cannot use the words. So we have off-limit words. We have the moon, nur, light, blessing, gift, rose, flower, ocean, sea, jewel, and pearl. So those words, you cannot use them to describe Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So yeah, it's just a little challenge we're gonna do. So just 5 minutes um, for this prompt. And I would love if some people could, like, if they want to share by voice, but if you're not comfortable, you can just write your responses in the chat and we'll have a read, inshallah. So, I'm trying to figure out, Naki, do you know if you could like put like, do you know how to put like a timer up for like 5 minutes so like everyone can see? Yeah.
Yeah, let me try to do that.
Okay. Awesome. I think, yeah, somewhere I don't know where it is, but should be there.
So do we just send in the chat or what?
Yes, you can write it in the chat. And then, yes, we have 5 minutes to write. And then once the 5 minutes are over, we will like share them. If you want to share them like by voice, you can. But I prefer like if we write them all in the chat so everyone has it can see them. And then if you want to like read it out loud, you can.
Is everyone able to see the timer, or is it just on my screen or my video thing over here?
I don't know. Can
And
I can
I
see
can
it.
see it. I
you guys
can
can
see
see
it.
it? Okay, cool.
I
Okay,
can
that
see as
means
well. Yeah.
Okay.
sounds good.
Awesome.
Do we have to describe him in a poetic way or just like any way?
It's up to you.
So general characteristics is fine too. Like it doesn't have to be like
Yeah.
really fancy.
No, no.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Okay, we have like about 1 more minute left. So wrap up what you got. If you need to type it up in the chat so that we can share it.
Okay. Did everyone hear that sound, or was it just me?
No,
Ever-
that brought flashbacks to the House of Batman. Because it ends with that
It
noise.
ends with that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That was good. Um, okay. Does anyone want to share it like out loud? Put your hands up. Anyone want to? Or we could just read in the chat, the ones that we have. So we have Asad Raza, the Holy Messenger, revealer of the Quran, leader of all believers, city of knowledge, teacher of Imam Ali alayhi salam, best role model. And then Naki wrote, he alayhi salam was the warmth of a proud father's embrace. Ooh, that's really nice. Walid wrote, whoa, they're all coming in. Walid wrote, Yathrib shined with his presence and become the enlightened city, a diplomat with a message from God. Wow. I like these. See, like Maryam wrote, healer of the sick hearts and its medicine, seal of the truth holders, epitome of gentleness and good character, beacon of hope for all those who stayed, seed of Ibrahim the Hamid, sallallahu wasallam, wa alihi wasallam. Whoa, these are so good. See, like we're going beyond the I like how, see, when we don't use certain words, I feel like we can like branch out so much into different territories that we've never explored. So that's what I want to try to do today, like for us to go beyond the ordinary and make it more original, more personalized, more, um, yeah. And then Tahrim wrote, my dearest prophet, the one who was the most truthful, the most truthworthy amongst his tribe, that people would give him secrets and treasures for safekeeping, even before Allah descended the greatest book for him to safety, disperse to the people around him. Okay, these are all amazing. Great job, guys. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do, like just a little introductory writing exercise to get us into the topic of, getting more, like I said, personalized, more specific, like going from the ordinary to making it more original, more different, more new. So let us move on to the next slide. Okay. So with um, cliches are basically phrases that they've lost their meaning, their originality, their impact, because we've seen them so many times. They've been repeated over and over and over again that they've just become meaningless. They don't really have any that power power anymore. They've lost it. So, for example, you've seen it before, like broken heart, sea of stars, a wave of grief. So when we lean into cliches, what we're doing is we're just letting the surface take the center stage rather than what's underneath. So what I like to, a metaphor I came up with for cliches is seeing cliches as a locked suitcase. And what we're trying to do is we want to try and pry open that locked suitcase and discover new territories that we haven't discovered yet in poetry. So that's what I hope we will get to do today. So it's always skipping. Okay, there we go. So we have three types of cliches. So we have the figurative, which is overused expression. So a simile or metaphor that we've heard a more than once. So like a broken heart, salt in the womb. So um, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right? So they become so familiar to the reader, they often just, you don't think about the literal meaning anymore because we've heard it so much. So there's no more power to them or meaning. There's no depth to it anymore. We also have characters. So characters can also have specific cliches. They rely on like stereotypes. So for example, the mad scientist. They always make scientists crazy or evil. Um, or like a princess, right? She's always in distress. She's trapped. She's locked. She needs someone to help and find her and save her. And then we got the plot. And the plot is like, when you're watching a movie or you're reading a book, there's certain events that are so predictable. So you're reading the book or you're watching a movie, you're like, I know what's going to happen. So you expect the conclusion. So it makes it hard for the reader or the viewer to get invested. So you've heard the story before. You've already learned from it. So example of this is it was all a dream. That's a cliche one. Yeah. Okay. So why they fail us again. Cliches, why we always go back to cliches is because they're so familiar to us. They're like the safe space. And but again, they fail us because they cut the piece short. They cut poetry short, or like a story, if you're writing a story. They cut us short because there's not that much depth or power to them. So we all know the weight of a world on our shoulders is so means, right? So we're struggling with a particular poem. We always lean back to it. But again, we're not making it personalized. It's not going to allow the reader to be invested in it because it's like, oh, I've read this before. This is boring, right? So we want to get out of that and like explore new territories, be like more original and yeah. So different ways that we can actually look at um, cliches is again, what did it do? Oh yeah. Yeah, see, it's like skipping. I don't know what's wrong with my slides. But before we go into that, there's an exercise in there we go. It came up. So we have a little writing exercise, and crazy enough, it's very similar to I was watching a writing hour from House of Emma an hour ago. And I think she's here. Yes, Tahrim, she talked about color, and I'm talking about color too. So when I was listening in, I was like, oh, subhanallah, same mind wavelength. But so this writing exercise, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have 5 minutes, and there's like 10 ways to say a color without saying the color. And so for example, I did black and I did like absence of light, the other side of the moon, obsidian, midnight sky, tiger stripes, after the fire, coal, asphalt, imploded star, the ocean's depth. So and it's a nice way just to kind of like branch out of just using color, because I know with poetry a lot of us like to just describe the color, like, oh, it's blue, or the sky's blue, or I don't know, the forest is green and this and that, like just using the specific color. But sometimes it would be nice to kind of like describe the color without describing the color, like actually saying it in poetry. So it's kind of like a fun way to kind of like get out of our like little like that kind of like get out of that box that we're just like describing color, but without even saying the color. So yeah, I'll give everybody like 5 minutes. Yeah, so just 10 ways you can say a color without saying the color, and then we'll come back and hopefully I like actually to hear people say it instead of me reading the chat. So that would be like great. So yeah, 5 minutes, and yeah, we'll come back to the room and share.
Wait, so we can choose any color?
Yeah, any color. It's up to you. Right. I'm gonna see if I can actually put a timer on here. Okay, wait, that should work. Hopefully that works. It just doesn't count down, I believe.
Did you want me to start one, Sara, or?
Yes, please. But
Okay,
I'm yeah.
I'll
Pause.
put down 30 seconds.
Okay. But I'll just like experiment with this and see if this works. I've never used this before, so I'm just seeing. But okay, we're at the like 1 minute mark, so just try and finish up. And then if you haven't typed it up yet, type it up in the chats. And yeah, we'll share in a bit. All right. Okay. Does anyone want to share actually like read out what they want to say? Instead of me reading it out. Um,
Sure, I could go
yeah,
first.
sure.
So I chose yellow.
Mm.
The flesh of ripe mango, the heart of a fire, blinding brightness of the sun, hardened glow of tree resin, British people teeth, cheap plastic trophy, Lakers jersey, and bars of wealth.
Cool. Nice. Anyone else?
I can read mine too.
Okay.
So the color that I picked is red. I could not come up with 10, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Um, so I wrote the life being pumped by the heart and gushing through my veins, the flower of lovers with the thorns all plucked away, the color of anger and rage, the color of fresh henna, the color on my fingers after sorting through the mead on Eid al-Adha, the color of moon on total lunar eclipse, the color of campfire in the woods when everything else is chilly.
Ooh, those are great. Yeah, you don't always have to come up with 10. I saw a video actually of people doing this and they came up with 50 and I was like, "Oh my God." So, very cool. Yeah, Waleed.
Mine goes like a photonic release of an electron that didn't have enough energy to reach the conduction band. 2.14 electron volts wasn't enough. So the electron went back to the valence band.
Oh, wait, what color is this?
Well, it is mentioned, one of these colors that were mentioned here.
Black?
No,
I am
it,
so gr
it was mentioned more than once.
Yellow?
Yellow.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes.
yellow. Cool. You took like a scientific I like that. You took a scientific way. I like that one.
Yeah.
Cool. No, don't say that, I said. We're all learning here. It's like you did well too. It's just an exercise, and then as you like get like better at it, the thing that's really interesting is that sometimes like when you like force yourself to keep going and going, you surprise yourself yourself as well. So when I saw someone else doing it, they were doing 50. We just did 10. Imagine these people, they did 50 of this, 50 listing. And it got so funny at the end. They like became so much more crazy. So yeah, we restrict ourselves a lot, but yeah, just have fun with it. Yeah, it's like the list of 100, but with color. Um, I just want to read. So I said you chose blue. So clear sky, rivers flowing in deep ocean. Really good. See, it's really nice. Without you didn't even mention the color, and we know what color it is, blue. So that's what we need to know. That's what if you're in the right track is actually describing something. You're describing the color, and then you didn't even tell us what the color was, and we figured out what the color is. So let me see, did I miss one? Medium. A lot of people chose yellow. That's interesting. Yellow, hue of sun, anthem of happiness. Oh, I like that. Anthem of happiness. Crisp of joy, flag of bright, drum of hope, smell of morning. Ooh, I like how you used some of the different senses too. I like that. The drum of hope, smell of the morning. I like that. Um, wow, this is great. I think we all use yellow because I don't know, I don't know if it's gray for everybody, but we need more sun now. Yeah. All right. So that was great exercise. I enjoyed that. Everyone's um answers. Okay. So in the next we're going to just like talk about like the different ways of um we can avoid cliches. So generally a cliche has become so vague because like what is we want to change it up. So for example, like we want to write the cliche from something vague to something more specific. For example, like um here we have instead of saying so this one is called instead of saying they're they were at a wit's end. There's like different ways that you can say it. We can change the vague of what is wit, right? You can make it more like you need to question it, like why is it so vague? So we need to make it more specific. um for example, we can make it more humorous. We can take a couple chimes short of being a cuckoo clock. Or make it hopeful, like the wit is something hopeful, like some failed idea becomes into a dream. Or make it more like adventurous. This wit is we're looking for something, we're mining for something, or it could be like a mystery, like what is this wit, like going on an adventure trying to figure out what the answer to the wit is. So like this specific cliche is vague, but most cliches are vague too, like because they've lost the meaning, and people, because of repeating them over and over again, we've lost the meaning and we don't know what they are, what they mean anymore. So in this case, we're making it more specific. We're giving it meaning. We're making it our own. We're making it more personal. So and maybe we can put it in different contexts too. So I just gave some ways. So making it hopeful or adventurous or angry or something like that. So depending on whichever take you want to go, it's open. There's no wrong answer in this because the cliche has lost its meaning. You're giving it meaning back. Um, so yeah. So again, here's another way. Like we're taking the cliche and we're changing it. We're putting it in a different context now. So for example, rubbing salt on the wound is like a negative cliche. It's basically saying when you put salt on the wound, you're making something worse. The injury is worse. It's not going to heal. It's getting worse and worse and worse. So we can change this into something else. We can take this cliche and change it and put it in a different light. So change it, like so it can be positive, for example, like salt actually is a preservative. Salt is actually healing. So instead of it being in a negative light, we're gonna change that cliche and put it in a positive light. So what if putting salt on the wound is something healing? We're making it that painful. It's a painful healing, but we're actually healing. It's not making the injury worse, it's making it better. Or you can make a pun out of it, make it something silly. So you have like a murder mystery or something like that. And you saw like the body was dumped into a lake, in saltwater lake, and the detectives like they really rubbed salt in the wound. So like something funny, like making it a little bit more humorous or something like that. So like there's different ways that we can take a cliche and change the context of it, put it into a new light. So that's just one way. Um, yeah, like even for example, let's say, does anyone have an example of a cliche they want to like we can put it in a new context? I'm just trying to think of something. Um, for example, oh yeah, yeah. The one like waking up on the wrong side of the bed. Maybe it's you again, it's in a negative connotation, like I didn't wake up great, but maybe waking up on the other side of the bed is a positive thing. Oh, I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna be more motivated. I'm waking up more positive instead of, oh, putting it in a negative light. That is, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I woke up on the right side of the bed, let's say. Right. So there's like different ways we can change it up. Yes, Willie.
Thank you. I have this example. They never looked at each other's in the eye, but when they did, it was before the UFC fight.
Yeah, that's one too.
So looking each other in the eye, usually it means like they agree, but
Yeah, that's
it
true. You
was
like changed
before a
it up.
fight.
You changed the context. Yeah. Asad wrote, the grass is greener on the other side of the lawn. Yeah, that could be mean something else. We could change it up because like usually when we say the grass is greener on the other side of the lawn, like our side is bad and the other side is better than us. Maybe it could be like, let's change it to a negative for the other person. We could say like the grass is greener on their side, but the meaning is different. They're they have so much grass and so much insects, and the lawn is huge. They have so much work they need to do. But my side of the grass is great. It's it's not as green, but I'm a work in progress. I'm better than that person who has been lazy and not mowing the lawn, let's say. Yeah. Um, meaning, oh, meaning they were sworn enemies. Sworn enemies. Yeah. That could take a turn to maybe they were enemies, but then they become friends. Um, who knows? So sworn enemies to, again, different contexts. Um, I said, did I answer your question about the grass is greener on the other side? Just want to clarify because I just explained it.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I think
Yes.
you did. Yeah, thanks for that. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm outside right now, so sorry for the background noise.
That's okay. All right. What else? Every cloud has a silver lining. Okay. So instead of silver lining, we can, I don't know, maybe take it in a new context as well. This one's a little hard. Every cloud has a silver lining. Instead of like a silver lining, we could have yeah, I use this one a lot too. So I'm trying to figure out like a different context for this because it's a positive one, but there should be like a different way. Maybe it's not just a silver lining. We need like something else. Like it's not only a lining, it's the whole fabric. I have no idea. But or instead of the silver lining, we could change it up to um the lining because the clouds, so the lining is behind the clouds. We don't want the lining behind the clouds. We want it to be in front of the cloud. So maybe like the silver lining engulfs the cloud and becomes the cloud, or maybe it eats up the cloud and then the sun comes back. I don't know where I'm going with this, but just thinking on the top of my head right now. So uh yeah. Or I see that Naki said that that's where the lightning comes from. So maybe, yeah, the silver lining could change into lightning. And then from there, I know lightning is actually very interesting. In science, lightning actually causes nitrogen in the atmosphere, and nitrogen is needed by plants to grow. So that's another way we could take it. That the silver lining is not the silver lining, it's the lightning that causes the sky to fracture, and the fracture causes plants to grow. So then we can kind of like take that to a different um we can take that and talk about like us as growth and um us growing or something like that. I don't know. This is all weird what I'm saying, but hopefully that makes some sense. I'm just saying something randomly here on the top of my head. Yeah. Okay. And then Medium's like, what goes around comes around. Yeah. So to don't grow. So what goes around comes around. I know isn't what goes around comes around is like what you do, it comes back to you is I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so instead of like uh so I think it's usually in a negative light. Like what goes around comes around. So maybe we could I'm pretty sure it's generally in the negative. So if someone does something bad, it comes back to them. So again, like bring it into the positive, like um you do khair, the khair comes back to you. So we could put it into our like in Islam as well, like in our principles of being good and doing good. Um, rather than, giving it um rather than also, yeah, the good you plant comes back. I love that. So you can say it in a different way too. I love that, Mariam. So what comes around goes around. So we changed it to the good you plant comes back. I love that. Or the seed that you nurture becomes a tree, or a tree comes back to you. I like that. Yeah. Okay, awesome. These are great. Uh, okay. And then I'm just gonna speak a little bit about these are like more about like stories, like if you are a person who like writes stories and stuff. So there are stories that have cliches. We have characters that are cliched. Like I was talking about like the mad scientist, princess who needs help, the evil villain that was bullied. He was bullied all his life and then he became evil, that kind of stuff. Like they're all cliched. So again, taking that um or like the chosen one and all that stuff. And then we can basically take those predictable parts of a character and change it up. Like, how can we change the character? We can even just take existing characters, like for example, the princess, for example. Why can't she be uh the superhero in the story? Um, what if the one that was not chosen becomes the chosen one, right? So kind of like spinning off of that. Um, right. And yeah, so just really interesting. So I won't really go into that much as well because these are like more like about stories and stuff because we're really specific more on the poetry. And then again, more about the stories. So again, I spoke about this before, but there's some stories that are very, predictable. Like we know what's going to happen at the end, right? There's a beginning, middle, end, and it's all predictable, and you don't want to watch anymore or read the book anymore. And there's a lot of people who don't finish reading a book. I've done that because I read the book and I'm like, nah, I know what's gonna happen. And I'm one of those people that actually reads the last page of a book to see what happens. And I'm like, oh, I was right. So I just don't want to finish the story because I'm just like, what's the point? Wasting my time. I need something new. Um, So yeah, so with the character, so with stories as well, there's a lot of cliches in that too. So we need plot twists, yes. Um, okay. So when it comes to cliches, I just want to like summarize a bit of the things that we have kind of already said before. So just to kind of summarize it. So sometimes I've been saying like avoid cliches, but sometimes we can actually use cliches for as an advantage. So like I said, we can personalize it. So for example, like the feeling of heartbroken or rage or anger, those are all like, cliched emotions. But when we personalize it and describe our own emotion, like um usually people like talk about like thunderous clouds or erupting like volcano for anger. But is there other like ways that we can describe anger that's personalized to you that someone has like, when someone is reading your work and they're like, I never thought of anger that way. So we can use cliches to kind of like branch out and expand from it. So it's not like I'm not saying that you have to avoid them, but we can also use them as an advantage for us. So taking that and you know personalize it again, like we've done already, like putting a fresh spin on it, right? um that we've done, like the one where what comes around goes around, and then Miriam made a whole spin about it, saying that um you plant something good and it comes back to you. um and then also you can draw your audience into a surprise. So you can actually use cliches. For example, like maybe you're writing a poem or you're writing a story, and people think subconsciously, oh, I know where this is going, but you can use the cliche as an advantage and like shock the person at the end. So that's an interesting way as well. So you don't have to avoid cliches, actually. You can use them for your advantage to get that shock factor if you want. Um, yes. I think I'll answer some questions I'll like type after once we're doing like um a writing exercise, because one's coming up, and then I'll answer some of the questions that are in the chat. Okay. So how I was saying, with that, the idea of using cliches as an advantage, we can take advantage of them. So we can use cliches as actual prompts. So we take a cliche and then we can question it, ask questions about it, explore um, why is this cliche the way it is? What is it trying to say? And then it can help us turn that cliche into something that's personal to us or original, that sorts. Um, yeah. So let me try and see if we can. Okay. Let's see. It's not. Okay, I don't know what happened. Anyways, yeah, I the slide disappeared. I don't know where it is anymore. Or is it here? Yes, it is. Okay. It's just okay. So while we're using cliches as a prompt, so again, like we can take advantage of cliches. So we can like again, I'm referring back to the metaphor that I use, like a cliche is like a suitcase that's locked up and we want to like pry it open. So that's what we're trying to do here. So you're using a cliche and then we're trying to dissect it and we want to question it. And here's a way that we can do it. So I gave one example. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So we're going to take this cliche and we're going to question it and try to, while we're questioning it, this could help us direct us in creating a poem based on one of these questions that we come up with. So, for example, this is such an overused uh, phrase. So what does kill mean, right? Like, what does that kill in that phrase mean? Is it you're killing oneself? Is it killing your ego? Is it killing your nefis? Is the, is it as a dream being killed here? What does stronger mean? Is it actually resilient? Are you being more resistant? Or are you just feeling numb, for example? What about the things that almost killed you? So like describing what almost killed you. We all have our own backstories. Everyone has their own hardships and struggles. Bringing that in, telling us what it is, instead of just like saying, "Oh, it just something killed me and made me stronger." Describing that, and we all have our own personalized stories and stuff. So again, like I said before, personalizing it, we can take these cliches and personalize them and make them something more unique. Um, and then again, maybe this phrase means what if it's actually leaving you permanently weaker, actually. The thing that might have been the struggle caused PTSD, um, trauma. So you're not actually stronger. Um, um, yeah, so that's like again with the what if stronger is a harmful mutation, right? So the stronger isn't really stronger, right? So questioning the strength, like, am I really strong? Right? So maybe you could talk about that in a poem, right? You could talk about like, um, does this hardship make me stronger or did it actually make me weaker? So there's different ways. Yeah, strength versus hardening. Yeah. And the last thing is, again, bring it back to this personalized stories. What are the stories hidden in the almost killed? Because everyone has a different story. Um, no, like for example, with refugees or immigrants, everyone has a different story. And telling your story is very meaningful, and they need to be told because it's something new that's being experienced by the reader, but also it could help someone else too. Because I always think, um, I always tell myself and I try to tell others that what you write is can help a life as well. So um, just by saying what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, we need to break away from that and make it more specific, make it more personalized because it could be someone else's story as well. So yeah. Okay. So I wanted to speak about, so now that we've like talked a little bit about cliches, I wanted to show like we wanted to do this now together. Another exercise that's, where you're going to choose your own. You could choose from the list. I provided a list, but also you could pick your own if you want to, because in the chats we already got a couple of cliches. So select one cliche, and what you're gonna do is basically question that cliche and you're going to expand on it. So we're going to go from this ordinary cliche, we're going to make it to something original, to something more unique and personal to you. So just like what I kind of like was giving you in the example, how where is this? It's like freezing and that's not me. Okay. yeah, so here, like how I showed what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, I questioned it. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to choose one of these cliches or any of your choosing, and you're gonna question it. And then from there, that question that you come up with, or the couple of questions that you come up with, try to write like a little piece. Yeah, it's just 5 minutes, something really, really quick and short. And yeah, so 5 minutes, and then we will regroup. I'm gonna get my book and pen because I forgot to get them over there. And then I'll because I want to join in as well. And then yeah, we'll share our pieces, inshallah. Naki, I hope you could put 5 minutes on the clock. Awesome. Okay, yeah, you can all start. Okay. Has anyone gotten anything written down? Just tell us which like cliche you chose and then maybe what
Uh,
direction you took.
excuse me.
Yeah.
So if there's background, I can't type. I just say some stuff.
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
still. Yeah. So I want to do the second one. Like, don't you can't judge a book by its cover.
Mm-hmm.
By book, I'm thinking of it to seem like a person. Like, don't
Mm-hmm.
just like judge a person based on his appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And like expanding on it, like I think it means to say that like if someone looks, let's say, like as like a man, like sometimes we like see someone who's like maybe doesn't have like the best body. Let's say they're not that built. Let's say then we just automatically
Mm-hmm.
assume like, hey, this person is lazy. They're out of shape. Like they don't
Mm-hmm.
exercise. Like why don't they hit the gym,
Mm-hmm.
right? But like we don't know like if they have like a condition which like prevents them from exercising. Like I know this one
Yeah.
person, one of my relatives, he actually has a heart condition that he had since birth. Like he has a hole in his heart, so he literally
Yeah.
cannot do any exercise because like his heart stops like beating if he does push himself, right?
Yeah.
So it's like don't be shallow, and like if someone is like uh if someone doesn't look, and it's like there's so many like there's so many ways that we can judge someone based on their appearance, like that we can
Mm-hmm.
think like, hey, this person looks stupid. Like how can you just assume that? So
Yeah.
it's just on that note.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
that like
That's
kind of what you're expecting?
yeah, you could also like take another way, like with a instead of like just saying like speaking about the book cover, we could even talk about the pages. And you said like a we could change the book into a person, which I really like. And then we could like speak about the person like instead of just looking at it from because we always judge by appearance and stuff, but let's talk about what's inside a human. Um, and that experience that you said, yeah. So that's really good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like digging deeper, just because it's so cliche of just always saying like judging a person by how they look and stuff like that. Why don't we look at what the human is inside? Or like we can take that the human how the human is from the inside, but describe it as a book and reading a book through the like a page like through pages. So that's really cool. Yeah. Um, let's see.
I have one for I think it's similar to what Mariam wrote for the reading between the lines. So the questions that I asked myself were,
Yeah.
what does read mean? What are the lines? Why does it have to be between the lines? And why is it not inside the lines? So I ended up coming
Mm,
up with like this quick poem. So I'll read this one. I'll post in the chat as well.
sure.
Um, how far can a line be stretched until it breaks? We speak in broken language, my tongue, your ear, and a line connecting two broken telephones. What I say can never be complete. So I beg you for all the things that reside in the cracks between these broken words, these broken lines, this broken sound, understand what my language cannot express.
Oh, wow. That's really good. Yeah. I like that. The idea of like, why is it always in between the lines? Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Lots of love. Lots of people like it. Um, yeah, let's go. Because Mariam wrote, what if we didn't have to exert extra brain power to reading between the lines, and every person was an open book, transparent to read and clear like the skies on a sunny day? What would happen if we said that? If what would happen if we said what was on our minds with gentleness, but with truth at the core of it? Doubt wouldn't have a seat at the table, and everyone would not have waste precious brain foul hair brain power deciphering what was said. Ooh, I like that. I like this. I feel like it's so cool, like when you question, see, like just questioning the cliches, and we've like, you guys are coming up with such so many cool ways to describe things. And from what you said, you can create a poem too. Um, I see Walid first on my screen. Rose raised his hand, so yep, go ahead.
Okay, so mine was like Brother Asad. It was about judging a book by its cover. It's
Mm-hmm.
called Why Not Judge the Book by Its Cover? Uh,
Oh, okay.
and it goes like this. Why not judge the book by its cover if the writer was already bored of his stuff and didn't try to come up with something better? I judge the book by its cover because it's stupid sometimes to waste the reading time of something that was clearly what you're not looking for before reading the first line.
Oh wow. Damn.
I
That's
really like
good.
that. Yeah, I really
That
like that.
was so good. Cool. Wow. I'm like amazed right now. Um, I
Uh,
said yes.
So I'm sorry, it's a boss here. Sorry I joined late. I just again I have to speak as well. I'm kind of multitasking, so I just have to verbally express my thoughts here. So yeah, I went for the first one. Ignorance is bliss.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about ignorance is bliss, you know, we look at two words, right? Ignorance and then the word bliss. So ignorance is kind of is the opposite of knowledge, right? So when we look at
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, our Deen, Rasulullah always expressed one should always seek knowledge, one should always look for knowledge, one should always better themselves, one should always improve themselves, open their mind, and gain as much knowledge as possible. So when you say ignorance is bliss, and the word bliss itself is it's a positive connotation, right? It's sukoon, it's peace, it's comfort, it's
Mm-hmm.
making sure you're okay. So ignorance is bliss. I feel like is a cliche that kind of goes against what we've learned and what we've known
Yeah.
uh, from our prophet. He said, "Go seek knowledge." But if we're saying ignorance is bliss, then we're kind of giving that out where it's okay not to know. Now, that's one point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So that cliche kind of goes against what we've tried to what we've tried to aspire to be. But
Yeah.
secondly, ignorance is a type of protection, where
Mm.
it's sometimes it's good for someone not to know something. For example, I have a child, I'm a father, and so what I want is if I know that my child will know something and it'll harm her, then I will do my best that that knowledge or that information or that action doesn't get to them so that they
Yeah.
don't feel any harm. So, in a sense, it's good for them not to know this because it's protecting them from any negative feelings or any sort of pain or anything of that nature. So, when we use the terms ignorance is bliss, kind of similarly in your previous slide, when you broke down, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. What is that? Like, it's good to break down as opposed to, using the term ignorance is bliss, use terms like protection and making sure that there's no harm in not knowing something. So,
Mm-hmm.
so in these type of two scenarios, I feel like, if we were to expand ignorance is bliss, make sure you know that, you come from a lens of protection and making
Yeah.
sure somebody isn't hurt and making sure that, you're doing your job as a protector in this scenario as a father and a daughter to make sure any pain or anything is away from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's really good. Also, uh, along the lines of ignorance is bliss, some people, uh, that if they don't know like about their illness, for example, they actually heal more than just thinking about it and stuff like that. So maybe that too, ignorance is bliss, healing. Yeah, thank you. Asad, I see your hand up.
It was up from before, but I actually had another question, so it works out. I wanted to
Yeah.
expand on, like the ignorance thing. Like you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
the opposite of ignorance being knowledge. I see another opposite. It might not be exact opposite, but I also see like truth
Mm-hmm.
being the opposite. It's
Mm.
like if you don't like, it's kind of like if you don't know something, it's kind of like ignoring it. That's kind of like a lie, right? So like if
Mm.
that's like the truth, if you look at it from that perspective, and that also ties to like the going towards Deen and what we look for, like I feel like just changing it between knowledge and truth can be like two different perspectives because knowledge on something could be like a false knowledge, which is actually a lie too. So it's like what
Yeah,
kind of ignorance is bliss? Like is like sometimes
that's true.
like you said, like in the sense of protection, that ignorance is bliss. But let's say like ignorance in the sense of like denying the truth, that's and like for example going to Jahiliyyah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like going into like kuffar for instance, like
Yeah,
disobedient, disobeying. Like that's like
yeah.
a ignorance which is not bliss, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
That's
just want to
true.
put like
Yeah,
point
yeah,
that
yeah.
out.
I agree. So ignorance is bliss, maybe in certain knowledge, not every knowledge. Yeah, nice. I like that. I see things in the chat and I need to read them. Let's see. We have Tahrim, ignorance. So a lot of people love the ignorance is bliss one. Ignorance is bliss, but for who? You have been given your five senses to explore what lies under you and build a life from it. If there is a fire around you and you don't see or smell or feel the heat of the fire, it grows and it grows. Initially, it truly does not harm you, but eventually the fire will breathe enough life into itself that it consumes your whole house down. Woo. So ignorance could be bliss until the flames of unknowing begin to lick at you and consume you because the knowledge that laid within reach was not accessed. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So ignorance is bliss, but at the same time, like what we've all been saying, like ignorance is not always bliss, right? It can literally engulf you into flames, which Tahrim was talking about. Wow, really nice. I love what you guys are coming up with. Um, Miriam wrote, "Why read between the lines when we can fly beyond these pages? Where A doesn't mean it's where we begin and B doesn't mean it's where we end. Why stay imprisoned in the linear system when the world is our oyster?" Ooh, I like that. That's nice. I like that. That literally reminded me of like math, for example, like linear, like instead of being on the page, going up beyond the page. So yeah, this 3D. Yeah, three-dimensional. That's really good. Nice, amazing. So now that we've like talked about a lot about like cliches and stuff, I did want to share a poem just to transition who basically this is my one of my favorite poets, Khalil Gibran. And he in his book, The Prophet, there's a poem called On Prayer, and we're gonna read it because he's literally I believe his work is very like beyond the cliche. Um, because he's gonna basically he doesn't just he doesn't use like worn out religious language. Um Gibran is Christian, but his work is still like can be relatable to us. But yeah, he doesn't use very worn out religious language. He makes it like new, and so yeah, I'm just gonna share the poem with you guys. Let me just stop sharing and then share um the poem. Okay. Mm, where is it? Yeah. Okay. Everyone can see the screen, right? Okay, awesome. So on prayer. So again, I said that yeah, Gibran is Christian, but I a lot of his work, because he doesn't really like specifically say like certain things about like 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 it's just like a new perspective and stuff. Like it can like relate to any relate like it can relate to our religion, Islam as well. So yeah. So speak to us of prayer, any answered saying. You pray in your distress and in your need. With that, you might pray also in the fullness of your joy and in your days of abundance. For what is prayer but the expansion of yourself into the living ether? And if it is for your comfort to pour your darkness into space, it is also for your delight to pour forth the dawning of your heart. And if you cannot but weep when your soul summons you to prayer, she she should spur you again and yet again, though weeping until you shall come laughing. When you pray, you rise to meet in the air those who are praying at that very hour and whom, save in prayer, you may not meet. Therefore, let your visit to that temple invisible be for naught but ecstasy and sweet communion. For if you should enter the temple for no other purpose than asking, you shall not receive. And if you should enter into it to humble yourself, you shall not be lifted. Or if you should enter into it to beg for the good of others, you shall not be heard. It is enough that you enter the temple invisible. I cannot teach you how to pray in words. God listens not to your words, save when he himself utters them through your lips. and I cannot teach you the prayer of the seas and the forests and the mountains. But you who are born of the mountains and the forests and the seas can find their prayers in your heart. And if you but listen in the stillness of the night, you shall hear them saying in silence, Our God, who are our winged selves, it is thy will in us that willeth. And then yeah, it is thy desire in us that desireth, is thy urge in us that would turn our nights which are thine into days which are thine also. We cannot ask thee for aught, for thou knowest our needs before they are born in us. Thou art our need, and in giving us more of thyself, thou givest us all. Okay, that was like old English at the end, but that was hard. But yeah, you can kind of see like how described prayer in such a different way. Um, yeah, I just want to read the chat. So like what you guys, yeah, like yeah, I love Gibran. If you guys haven't read The Prophet, you should. I recommend it. It's a really it makes you like ponder on things because the way he says things and describes things in such different ways, it really makes you contemplate certain aspects of life. He speaks about prayer, love, death, money, I think, power, so many things. So there's lots of different topics. Um, yeah. Yeah, so it's an amazing book and I recommend it. So that's why I kind of chose this poem, because again, just a different way of talking about prayer. And I recommend like seeing other things that he's done in that book too. So um yeah. So I chose this on purpose because the last writing prompt that we're gonna do, like challenge, is actually based on the prayers. So I'm going to go back to the slides now. And yes, okay, where are we? Okay, technology is not on my side today. No. No. Um, yes. Okay. Oh, why did it pause? Okay. Everyone can see my screen, right? Awesome. Okay. So we're basically gonna transition to this idea of um prayer, but in the context of the seasons. And it wouldn't be literally, I have to always connect nature in somehow in my stuff. If I'm not connecting anything in nature, then is it really me? So I had to add the nature component to it. So for us, what we're gonna do is we have the four seasons. Um, so let me actually go to the exercise first, so that we can kind of understand what's going on. So this is just gonna be like a little challenge. So we're gonna pick one of the prayers, um, anyone, Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and you're gonna choose a season that you think it represents. Usually, what I've read through literature, they connect Fajr to the morning prayer, Fajr to spring, Dhuhr to summer, because the sun, it's like the sun is at its highest, it's at its peak, and that's when, summer is really is usually, strength and aliveness, right? So Fajr is like spring because the sun is just coming out, blooming like flowers. Yeah, so Dhuhr is summer. Then um, Asr is the autumn time. It's like midday, that it's not yet the end of the day. It's midday, so it's close. It's kind of like autumn. You're transitioning. You're not at winter yet. There's that little. You're still like in the middle, right? So the Asr is kind of like autumn, and then Maghrib and Isha are winter because they're at Maghrib is after the sunset, and Aisha is at night. So that's the time, like winter, like the nighttime, it's like more quiet. You would say people are sleeping, so in a way, death, and winter is death. like a slumber kind of. So that's what I've read in literature. Now, that's only one way. You could think of the prayer in a different way. You don't have to say Fajr is spring. I don't know, whatever you believe. Um, Maghrib and Aisha could be spring too, because death could be spring. Who knows? It's just questions. So in this way, we're gonna just pick a prayer. You're gonna choose which season you think it represents, and we're gonna write a poem describing that prayer in the context of the season that you choose, or the way I mentioned, like Fajr is spring, that one, or again, you could choose whichever. Again, this is all up to you. It's all your creativity and whatever you think is right. So, and yeah, make use of the five senses. I feel like when you use the five senses, so we use a lot of visuals a lot all the time, but use like your hearing, your like your touch, your scent. Those are big ones too. So I'm gonna go back to this one. Yeah. So I guess that we're not gonna do it, but so basically, while you're writing the poem, so yeah, I'm not gonna do this, but because I don't think we have that much time anyways. But because I want to give time to like writing and like dissecting what you want to write, and being creative with this. So, we have the four quadrants, the spring, summer, winter, autumn. So I recommend you guys first choose um the prayer that you want to write about, and then pick whichever season you want to write about, relating to that prayer. And yeah, I think it will be fun. But so making it easier first, I would say, so pick the prayer, then pick the season, and then brainstorm ideas. Okay, so what does spring have? Blooming kind of thing. And then once you got all the characteristics of that um, season, you can integrate it into the prayer somehow. And again, no right or wrong. This is all just creativity, thinking outside the box. And you guys already have done so much incredible work. So yeah, for this specific exercise, I'm gonna give like 10 minutes because I think it's like a little bit, you have to think of like first jot down all the characteristics of the seasons first, and then how are you gonna like think about joining it to the prayer. So inshallah, all that, does that make sense? Any questions? We good? Okay, awesome. Okay, so 10 minutes. Hopefully Naki can put it up 10 minutes, and then yeah, Bismillah. Okay. We're at the halfway mark, so 5 minutes. Yep. We have 1 more minute, about 1 more minute. So just wrap up your thoughts, get the last lines down, and then inshallah we're going to share.
Okay, I did not think that that's how it would have sound. I tried to change it up a bit, but it was definitely the worst alternative.
That was so sounded like a comedy noise. Anyways, um, before we share, like, how did you guys think that activity was? Was it hard? Was it, what do you guys think?
It was good. I think I liked, but I feel like I'm afraid I did the same thing that maybe a lot of other people did because we purposely tried to do the opposite of what it usually is. So
Yeah.
I'm just afraid that I didn't make a cliche by doing the exact opposite of what it's usually the cliche is. But it was good. It's fun.
Yeah. Um, I guess I can share one of like I've done this before. So I want to like share it with others because I was curious what other people would come up with. I actually did not choose. I used yeah, it is a little challenging because you're playing along into the cliches, but honestly, I feel like because I don't really see a lot of poetry that connects the seasons with the prayers much. So I think we're okay. We're like in a safe territory because we're kind of playing with the cliche, but like in a different perspective. Like it's something that I feel like has not been really done before, in poetry. Like I don't really see any poems that much, speaking like about this kind of concept. Um, but what I did was I did the Tahajjud prayer, and with Tahajjud, what I did is I thought Tahajjud prayer is like a transition from winter to spring. So I wrote a poem about that in that sense. And I guess I'll share first, and then whoever wants to share can put their hand up or type it up in the um, comments in the chat while I'm sharing. So the poem is called Thawing into Spring. Traveling through the realm of dreams, my limbs frozen, stiff as frost's breath. My mind ebbs and flows at an all-time high, awakening from a slumbering death. Birthed out of the bed's embrace, washing weariness from my face. My body softens with purification's touch. The quiet hour, the stillness grows. Injured soul entering solitude, hands raised, calling to the one who holds all. Coming as I am, broken and fragmented. Forehead kisses earth in humbleness. I remain there, I remain there. Each exhalation becomes a prayer. My body unravels, melting into the fibers of the carpet, becoming earth. Stained heart sighs, there is no God but you. Glory be to you, I was wrong. A human created to forget, whispering words only silence can hold. Beneath the veil of frosty breaths, I begin to thaw, shedding the remnants of winter's chill. My heart cleansed from the my heart cleansed from the stains. I am nourished by surrender, the surrender of fear that froze me. I rise, feet planted beneath me the ice cracks, light seeping through, engulfing the darkness. Dawn's first light emerges, stitching my spirit with golden thread. Um, yeah. So I tried to put in words that kind of relate to spring, transitioning from winter to spring. So the thawing, melting, those kind of words, to kind of get the sense. So I'm experiencing the prayer, but in the Tahajjud prayer, but in the experience of um, winter transitioning into spring. So I tried, yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
I really like that. I liked all the like the wintry like little details like the ice cracking and
hmm
thawing and all that stuff being frozen and then melting out. I
Yeah.
thought that was done really well.
Thank you. Does anyone want to share? It doesn't have to be a piece. You could even tell us about your thought process, like which prayer you chose, what season you chose, and like what direction you're gonna take. That sorts. Again, you don't have to have yeah, Tahrim. Did you put your hand up or was that by
Yes.
mistake?
No, I did.
Yes.
I did. I just
Okay,
I just
okay.
put my hand back down because you
Oh, okay, yeah.
because you
Yeah.
called on me. Um, I picked Fajr.
Mm,
Um, so I'll just read what I got to. I didn't fully complete it.
that's
So
fine. Mhm.
let's see where we got. Fajr calls me before the sun has had a chance to break the dawn, pulling me out of my sweet slumber, a small death of dreams beyond. The season of snoozing, of nights long, of life hibernating beneath the frost. It drags me out of the warmth, towards the beginning, back to life. For growth is agonizing, it is effortful. Melt all of your comfort you're in, cleanse the remnants of yesterday, and begin again with your Lord, standing in his mercy, Bismillah. Let the new
Ooh,
season break sprouts of new beginnings through you.
yeah, I like
That's
that.
it.
That's really good. See, like,
Yeah,
even though, like you said, you were like worried about the cliches, but again, because I said like this is like such a different like perspective. Like, I don't see poetry like that connects the seasons and prayer together, specifically the five prayers. So it's not really, I don't consider it a cliche anymore because we've taken on such a different like perspective of it. Wow, that was really beautiful. Thanks, Tahrim.
no, I agree. I thought it was such a good prompt because when I was writing to it, I was like, I haven't. It was a little challenging just because it's not something that you ever see. So you truly do have to come up with all of the things that you're writing.
Yeah, that's so true. I loved it. Yeah, I also loved the last line too. Like when you ended it, that was really beautiful. Thank you. Yes, Walid.
Okay, thank you. Mine was about Salat al-Fajr too.
Mm-hmm.
So it went like this. The Fajr prayer is the winter and the summer. It's making the wudu with the cold water. It's the
Mm.
struggle that makes the day a spring. But it's also the waking up before the light keeps coming earlier. Before that light that keeps coming earlier. It's the start of the engine before the arrival of the heat, before it's full and it's too late to reap.
Ooh, I love that.
So
That
I
was
tried.
really good. I liked how you used both. You did the summer and the winter. Because you're right. Like when you're doing wudu, like in the morning, especially in Fajr, like the cold water, it's like winter. I like that. That's a nice take. Nice. MashaAllah. Thanks. Naki.
Yeah, so I did also Fajr and I compared it to winter to just try to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
I'll post it here and then also read it out.
Sure.
Quietness is a pitch louder than silence. I was right. That was a little typo, but quietness is a pitch louder than silence. I hear the soft crackling of joints, the smooth ruffling of bed sheets, the expanding of a pillow's crater. Winter is not an easy season for the eyes. The lids of my eyes shut tighter than a jar of raspberry marmalade. The biting cold paralyzes each stiffened muscle, and before I can even thaw, the invitation for prayer slowly echoes through the dark corners of my home. Someone needs to light the fire that will keep this home warm. Only those who truly care to feel warm thrust themselves to the soft fuzz of the prayer mat. Lips still cracked, breath unpleasant, but this warmth is what makes your heart a home.
Whoa. Wow. That was so good. Like, wow. See, like, I just like, it's so crazy. Like, I always wonder why we don't talk about prayer. Like, we like make it something like familiar, something unrelated to um, like something that we experience like seasons. Because I feel like prayer, we have seasons of prayer too. Some of our prayers are great. We have khushua, we're so great, and sometimes our prayers aren't the best. But we always do it. So I thought it was a nice um prompt to do to kind of like even more like connected to our prayers because I feel like we just do it like sadly prayer sometimes becomes just a ritual and just movements, so taking it and putting it into like poetry and like experiencing it and like having these different like descriptions and imagery to poems. I just wanted to kind of like make it more meaningful and connect with our prayers in a different way. That's what I thought we could do. But yeah, mashallah, I love all that you guys have came up with. Really, really well done. Yeah, I'm wow. Yeah, so basically this is like pretty much the workshop is over. I just wanted to end off with a little poem. I've this poem I've like this is a pretty old poem, but I thought poem I didn't take the whole poem because it's a little bit long, and there are some graphic words in it, like lines in it, so I kind of cut some of those out because I'm not like familiar with, not everyone wants to read certain like graphic lines, but I thought Warshan Shire, her poem by Home, is very much out of the cliches and how she speaks about home and like leaving home and you're forced to leave home. So I just wanted to end off with this poem. And I'll just read, like, these are the few sections that I chose that we can read. Yeah, so home. No one leaves home unless home chases you. Fire under feet, hot blood in your belly. It's not something you ever thought of doing until the blade burnt threats into your neck. And even then, you carried the anthem under your breath, only tearing up your passport in an airport toilet, sobbing as each mouthful of paper made it clear that you wouldn't be going back. You have to understand that no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. No one burns their palms under trains beneath carriages. No one spends days and nights in the stomach of a trunk feeding on newspapers unless the miles traveled means something more than the journey. Um, yeah, I can't do that part. I want to go home, but home is the mouth of a shark. Home is the barrel of the gun, and no one would leave home unless home chased you to the shore, unless home told you to quicken your legs, leave your clothes behind, crawl through the desert, wade through the oceans, drown, save, be hungry, beg, forget pride. Your survival is more important. No one leaves home until home is a sweaty voice in your ear saying, leave, run away from me now. I don't know what's I've become, but I know that anywhere is safer than here. Yeah, so I thought this was a very powerful piece. It is an old piece. I think it's like 12 years old. I don't know, but I quite know, but it's just wow, like the way she describes like the experience of a refugee, and it's still relevant to today, so that's why I wanted to share it. So yeah, it's very like yeah, I thought it was a great way to like kind of end the workshop with a piece about, you know, breaking away from cliches. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, everyone. The last slide is not working. It's supposed to say thank you for like tuning in to the uh a workshop. I hope it like helped to see cliches in a different way. So we don't really have to avoid cliches. We can use them for our advantage as well, like we did, right? We don't have to throw them out in the trash. We can actually use them. We can benefit from them. Again, remember, personalize them, take a new spin on them, or you can use it for your advantage and, make people think something, but then surprise them in the end. So yeah, that's really it. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Thank you, everyone. Jazakallah khair for tuning in. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, that's all.
Just wanted to end by saying thank you so much, Sara. I know everyone here has benefited so much from this workshop, and really appreciate taking the time to be able to run this workshop for us. We do have another workshop coming up in December 7th. So if you don't follow Poets of the Household on Instagram, that's where we post most of our updates. That workshop is going to be focusing on poetry as education and adding depth and meaning to poems. So also a great workshop that might be worth signing up for as well. The flyers and stuff are probably going to come on the Instagram page. But appreciate everyone also here who made time to come out and join the workshop. It wouldn't be also complete without all of your guys' participation. So really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Alaikum salam.